Hi, everybody, and welcome again. I'll tell you something, at 76 years old, I'm really excited about doing all these things here. And yeah, what can I say? It's just something that always happens. And I want to tell all of you to have a pad and pen handy so that you could take notes. And you don't have to worry about scribbling things or what have you, because at the end of the seminar, we're going to be working on recording it so that by next Tuesday, you'll get a link so that you can watch the webinar in your leisure. Anyway, uh, some of you have really been asking me about the new changes that have occurred on LinkedIn. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to go over how to handle your LinkedIn connection requests to make a sale. Uh, One of the things I want to is a little bio of myself. I'm doing this in conjunction with John Davern of Virtual Assistant Talent, and I use them extensively in my things that everything I'm going to show you here, I use them for. But I'm going to go over how to increase sales from your LinkedIn connections. Now, over the past year, we've all seen several new features on LinkedIn evolving in exciting ways, but also in confusing ways because they don't tell you that they're making changes. You know, the updates are designed to help people find a job, attract business clients, customers, build personal brand, or just network. Today, I'm going to try to show you how to work around the new LinkedIn design and handle your LinkedIn connections to make a sale. Now, LinkedIn, by the way, is 270%, 277% more effective for lead generation than Facebook or Twitter. I mean, that's a phenomenal thing that just makes it all worthwhile. Previously, I did a webinar showing you how to get connection requests. And if you wish to see it, here's the link. Again, when you get the replay, you can click on it, or you can copy and paste it in your browser and go into doing that. But these are the following that I'm going to go over are the new ways that you can utilize to increase your conversions from your LinkedIn connections. And I'll show you how to work your way around the recent LinkedIn changes. But the idea is to make your experience on the site more powerful and user-friendly. There's 4 steps that I'm going to go over to work with your LinkedIn connection requests on LinkedIn. Number 1 is where to find people who connected with you. Number 2, where to find people who sent requests to you. Number 3, how to follow up with people who accepted your requests. And number 4, creating your own database for email marketing. So let's go over the first one that I clicked very quickly on. Find people who connected with you. In other words, what you want to do is you want to go to your home page and you click on My Network. And then you click on the right-hand side, you'll see it in red in a block, See All. And then you click on Recently Added. And then it's going to list those that you just recently added. So now you're going to right-click on the connections, pictures, and name and open in a new tab. Now you click on See Contact Info. Again, the whole reason for doing all this is to get their personal data, their emails, their websites, their phone numbers, and etc. So you click on Contact Info, and that's where their information comes up on. So you want to list their contact information in an Excel spreadsheet or whatever format you want. You know, some, by the way, don't show their contact info. It depends on their privacy settings. So step number 8 is to copy and paste their information to a spreadsheet or database, as I just mentioned. And this is so you can build a relationship with them by emailing them at least once a month. On the module that I notified everybody that I recently did, where I'm going to be putting my training program in the module format, by offering them individually, as a lot of individuals requested that. And in that module 1, I go over extensively how to build that relationship and go from creating the database into building a relationship into creating a sale. So it's very important that you guys might consider. I'll give you the link a little bit later for the module. Step number 9, you want to send the connection a thank you message for connecting. So you click on message, and there's our first message that we sent. Remember to request that they accept you as a connection. Okay, you want to do the thank you message, thanking them for your connection. Now, this is the thank you message that I use. If you'd like a copy of it, email me at kenpbg@AOL and ask me for a copy of it, or just when you get the replay, just copy everything that's on this page and then just make the changes to your own and create your own. Again, I'm looking for ways for individuals. I'm asking them to join my LinkedIn group. I'm asking them if they download a free ebook, etc. And then naturally, you want to put your websites down below. And then after you type in a thank you message, you hit enter to send it. Now, the second part, find people who sent you requests to you. In other words, these are individuals who are asking you to join their network. Not you requesting them, but them asking you. There's individuals, a lot of individuals on LinkedIn who go through profiles looking for individuals that could fit their prospect base. And these are the individuals that are going to send a request to connect with you, that for you to accept. So now you go to your homepage and then you go into my network. Now, step number 3, under invitations, you'll see one who sent you the connection request. Now, you could choose to ignore it or accept it. But you click show more to expand the list, by the way. So the important thing is, if this is a prospect for you, then you want to accept. If it isn't, it's up to you to accept them or not. Step number 4 is you click on manage all to make multiple selections, and you can choose again to ignore or accept. After you accept their connection, you go to their profile and click on their contact info like we did, because you want to start putting in create that database with their contact info in it. Then you click on message. In the message box, you'll then type the request to join message, thanking them for connecting with you, asking them to join your LinkedIn group and or ebook outline or other opt-in like I've been showing you. This is my thank you for requesting me to join your network message. And again, if you want copies of this, just send me an email at kenpbg@aol.com, or wait till you get the replay link and you can copy it down yourself. So now you continue down the list and you repeat the process on all those who have requested you to join their network. Now, the third one is to follow up with people who connected with you. And by the way, at the end of the webinar, we'll answer any questions you might have. So keep those in mind. So now you go back to my network and you click on a number of connections on the left-hand side of the page. See the 27,123? You start from your top of your list of connections and you message them either the thank you message if you've initiated the connection, or request a join message. So this is a way that you could do the first 2 steps in one step. All right? So if you want to just do the individual connections where those who you sent your connection request to, you could do step number 1. Step number 2 is where those who sent you a request to join them. Or step number 3 here is all in one. When you click to message a person, you can tell who initiated the connection in the message box. In other words, there'll either be a message for them requesting you or have you do it. But I find that just by hitting the enter button on a connection message, we'll send the thank you message. On the those who request that you join them, you have to copy and paste the message and then click the send button or click on send at the bottom of the message. Again, work your way down the list of connection and send them the appropriate message. You'll see in there when you click on their profile and when you click on message, what's going to show up so that you know where you left off the next. By the way, always keep track. Like if Elena was your last one, write Elena's name down so that you keep track of on a scrap piece of paper who you left off with. You know, I put together a generic follow-up message. And again, if you like a copy of the thank you message, just email me at kenpbg@AOL. Now, this fourth part is creating your own database for email marketing. This is critical and important. You right-click on your connections picture name and open in a new tab. Then you go into the contact info, then there's the contact info, and now you put it in the database as we went over before. All right, so that's the way to do all of this. All right, now many of you over the past years have begged me to create a training program and to develop one that would help you double your business in the next 12 months. And that's what I've done. So I want to just quickly go over that for you because many of you have asked me about this again. And what it will do is, if you're struggling, this will take your business to the next level. It'll ease the amount of work that you do. All right. Anyway, you could double with the training program. You could double your income within the next 12 months, retire and live the lifestyle of your dreams within the next 7 years, and become a part of the top 1% of small business owners who within the next 5 years. But you're about to discover how you can use my secrets to end your worries and frustrations and to build your multi-million-dollar business. This is all the program, the Build Your Business Training Program. You got 42 training modules in PDF ebook format and also converted an MP3 audio download and 40 hours of pre-recorded coaching calls on key topics pertinent to building your business. So coaching calls where I shared techniques are just here in the training program itself. It is so extensive. But some of the modules are the greatest sales secrets in turning quotes into sales, creating a business plan to guarantee long-term success, the amazing system for getting referrals from customers and people you meet every day. That system, people have just told me, was absolutely phenomenal. Positioning yourself as an expert in your field, putting your business on autopilot so you can make money while lying on the beach, turning your existing customers into advocates who will bring in new business for you, learning about the 20% of customers that generate 80% of your income, and how to create an effective website and use it to generate qualified leads, and how to make your customers bond with you so they will never go to your competition. These are simple tricks with these one-on-one questions and answer sessions with my subscribers on recording calls. The power of autoresponders and the magic of email. What I recommend to do for generating leads and getting referrals. How to work with a virtual assistant to build your database. The fascinating tricks to profit from LinkedIn and meetup groups. Making an elevator speech that will get you appointments. how to create the ideal prospect and follow up with them every single month, the 7 points of contact and what to do when you get a no, and how to work your way around certain LinkedIn changes, and how to use the ADA formula as the best way to promote your website. Here's a sneak peek inside the training platform. To build your business training program, is divided into 13 sections, as you see down below, with each section having a general theme and multiple modules within each section. As an example, in section 1, it's all about list building and how to make your database work for you. So there's 2 modules that are actually in there. For example, this is what you'll see when you click on module 1. And by the way, every module has a PDF that you can download and read, and a computer-generated text, the audio, that you can listen anytime. These are the 40 hours of pre-recorded coaching calls. This is what you'll see there. You just click on it and you'll see an archive of the calls, and you can just download them and listen to them in your leisure. Everybody, I've gone over testimonials over the last years, trying to explain to everyone on the call the importance of getting testimonials from your clients. And I go over that extensively in the training program. So it's important to do that. This is just a testimonial from Brian Tracy. Just take a moment to read it. Okay, here's another one from Mark Victor Hansen, Chicken Soup for the Soul. Again, when you get the copy of the link for the replay, here's one from Dan Kennedy, a dear friend of mine. By the way, the third paragraph where it says make so much money to have a person in Washington designated to try and figure out how to get more taxes out of them. That's just Danny's statement there. He's being facetious. So again, you should always get testimonials from your clients like I did here. And your investment in the program, by the way, is only $497. And you get full access to the 42 training modules in the ebook format and converted MP3 audio. You got 40 hours of coaching calls, which are audio recordings that I had with individuals privately in my coaching program. So and then it'll say get started by clicking on the button below. Now, here's a special webinar bonus. Be one of the first 50 to purchase and you'll get these two extra bonuses that are worth over $5,000. You get a personal 1-hour coaching call with me. And most of you know, when I'm coaching, I charge $5,000 for an hour. And then there's going to be a bonus number 2 is a webinar by John Davern on how to successfully outsource and manage your first virtual assistant. That value is $350. So the total value is over $5,000. This is the bonus that John has. It gives over best methods to successfully delegate tasks to a virtual assistant, best project management and communication skills. So sign up now, take a minute, write down this link. Those of you in the insurance business or network marketing, these are the other 2 links that are geared towards your specific arena. Okay, as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm making the modules available as individual ebooks with the bonus audio download that comes with it. And I'm officially launching my modules as an ebook now. The first one is how to turn your database into a personal gold mine. and it's available now for only $14.95. It includes the ebook and the MP3 audio download, so you can listen to it in your leisure. You're going to, in this module, you learn all about the foundation of marketing, the core message of being a marketer of your business, the database basics that will help you thrive in the business industry, and learn how to build your customer database and turn them into clients. It's a very detailed module. So again, here are the links that you could download. So take a moment. All it is buildyourbusinessfast.com/ebook-series. All right. I want to go over with you for a few moments the value of hiring a virtual assistant to do these jobs. Your job should be to make sales. I use virtual VA talent extensively, and I've never been happier forever in this year. But here's some important tips. You know, in my last few webinars, you could use virtual assistants to do that, to do your LinkedIn connection messages, meetup, welcome messages, and LinkedIn endorsements, birthdays, congratulation messages, etc. And you want to hire a virtual assistant to do this for you. A VA spending a few hours a day would send your LinkedIn connection messages, meetup welcome messages, which I went over another webinar on meetup messages, and you could find those in the LinkedIn groups that I have for links there. They'll do your endorsements when you contact John Davern's organization to hire a virtual assistant. He'll give you the link for any of these webinars that we've done. I've been using virtual assistant for many years now, and I found them to be very useful in helping me create and optimize my LinkedIn profile for searchability, sending my connection messages, searching for and joining LinkedIn groups, posting interesting articles to LinkedIn groups, setting appointments, by the way, for you, and managing your calendar. They could create and send out your newsletters. They could manage your contacts and email marketing. They could update your website with the content and blog. They could manage your social media marketing campaigns and accounts, increasing your website traffic and search ranking, and more. VAs create more prospects for you and present your products and services too. So consider all that thing. But I'm going to ask John Davern to come on and take over from this point on to go over. And I've asked John to make you a special offer. So thank you for being on here.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Thanks for having me on the call as well. I've been working with Ken. Ken's used our virtual assistant services for probably over 4 years, and I used to be a part when Ken was having his coaching program. Learned an awful lot from Ken's coaching program over the years. And first, I wanted to start out explaining what a virtual assistant is, and then I was going to spend some time going over kind of the process flow of what Ken described today in LinkedIn, and how that can incorporate into your overall marketing and lead generating campaign. And then I'll cover also how to go through a decision-making process of deciding how to take some of that workload off of you for your business in order to grow it or make things much easier for you. So I started this company, Virtual Assistant Talent, in 2009. I had been working in corporate HR for over 20 years, actually. But while I was in a corporate job, I also wanted to start my own business, and I got introduced to the concept of hiring a virtual assistant. So a virtual assistant is a home-based or remote worker. They work from their home remotely. And my first virtual assistant that I hired was in the Philippines, and I hired a virtual assistant to help find me real estate deals. And what they did was they went on Craigslist and repetitively did Craigslist postings indicating that I was interested in purchasing or buying homes. And that was how I was able to get my first few real estate deals. I also used a virtual assistant. I was in a network marketing business as well. And I had my virtual assistant repetitively post in Craigslist in the business opportunities sections, inviting people to my business opportunity presentation. And those are just a couple examples of how I used a virtual assistant. And eventually that evolved into actually providing virtual assistant services to business owners, entrepreneurs, and so forth on helping them grow their business without having to do everything on their own. So the name of the business is Virtual Assistant Talent. That's our website address. I wanted to emphasize one thing, because this technique that Ken taught you today is a technique that I've been using over the past 4 years. And it's something that's consistently delivered leads for my business. And it's proven the test of time. It's been modified a little bit. We've made some slight tweaks and changes to it, but this is a technique that has consistently delivered for me. And so thank you, Ken, for sharing this technique with me and, everybody else on the call. When you're in your LinkedIn account, one of the things that you want to do is make strategic connection requests. When you're looking at a connection request, you look at somebody's profile, whether they're coming to you or you're going to them. You look at the profile and you decide, is this somebody who can refer business to me? Is this somebody who could be one of my potential customers? Or is this person kind of a key influencer that can connect me to people who can refer business to me, or who can be a potential customer? And you're going to get connection requests that are going to be coming in, and then you're also going to make strategic connection requests, which are outbound. So kind of the two tracks that Ken went over today is, if you're making an outbound request to somebody and they accept that request, you're going to send them the thank you message, which thanks them for accepting you into their network. At the same time, you're also going to be making a number of outbound requests. You're also going to be receiving requests, because as that network grows, people will be able to see that you're a second level or third level connection, and people will be connecting to you. So when you're getting these requests, you should run people through that same filter. Could this person be a good referral partner, someone who can refer business to me? Could they become a potential customer, or are they a key influencer? It could also, for network marketing, obviously also be somebody that could be part of your downline, and is also connected and could be good at recruiting others as well. So for people who are inbound to you, you want to send them the request to join message, which is you're thanking them for asking to join their network. Now, one of the things that made a huge difference for me, because when I initially learned Ken was doing this technique, I followed that process, but my messaging, when somebody connected to me or when I connected to them, whether it was an inbound or outbound request, my messaging to them was lacking. And so I was doing this repetitive process. I was building a huge network, but it was not resulting in converting people into customers or people who were necessarily interested in my business. It was a low response rate. And the thing that made the difference is, when I was part of Ken's coaching program, is I learned what his messaging was. And actually there's an opportunity, he worked with me and helped tweak my message as well. And that made all the difference between just doing an activity that was growing my network, to doing an activity that was growing my network, but was actually converting people into customers, people who were interested in my products and services and actually wanted to purchase that. And if you looked at Ken's messaging, I wanted to cover the components of it, because this is really important. The first thing that you want to have in that messaging is your value proposition, how you're of a benefit to that person, how you benefit them by being part of their network, how your product or service can solve their problems or improve their situation better than the competition. And so it's not a huge sales pitch or going into a ton of detail, but you've got an opportunity here to briefly explain what you do and how you can help them and how you can solve their problems. That's one component you'll notice that is in Ken's. It talks about how he built all these businesses and how he can help grow customers for their business. So you want to have that value proposition in there. The second thing is an offer to help them in some way, whether it's with ideas or asking them about their business and who an ideal referral would be for them. The third component is you're going to invite them to join your LinkedIn group. Now, you may not have a LinkedIn group. If you don't, it's not difficult to create one. You create your own LinkedIn group, and that is opens you up to having more control of your connections in LinkedIn and being able to communicate with them. So I suggest creating a LinkedIn group, and whatever your geographic location is, you call it your geographic location and call it network marketing group or business building group, or it's a group it's a group where you're going to have the opportunity to share information with them, be recognized as an expert in your industry, and be able to put useful content to them. You'll be able to initiate thought-provoking questions or discussions, and it will help to convert people in your group into potential customers. So again, if you don't have time to create the group, this is something that a virtual assistant can do for you. But that is one of the things you'll notice in Ken's message is he invites them to join his LinkedIn group. The last component is a list building opt-in. So you'll notice in his messaging, there's an opportunity for someone to get his free ebook. You could also, if you don't have an ebook, you could also offer a free consultation or maybe a promo code to your product or services, some sort of incentive that when they click on that, they're going to go into your email marketing program. So the outcome of these is when you share your value proposition, in some cases, people will respond immediately and say that they're interested in your product or services. And in that case, you want to follow up with them either with a LinkedIn message, send them an email, do a phone call, or just set up an appointment or time to speak with them. And that comes out of that value, the value proposition or an offer to help them. And I'm getting, on average, somewhere between on a monthly basis, somewhere around 25 to 30 to 35 positive inquiries, resulting from my activities of people interested in my product or services on a monthly basis using this technique. If you invite somebody to join your LinkedIn group and they join that group, you want to post useful content, thought-provoking questions. You're going to respond with solutions to those pain points or questions that people have, insert your value proposition, and build that credibility and reputation. And eventually, people will be interested in your products or services, or they may ask for some help, or they may refer someone to you. The last component, the list building opt-in, once people join your list, they go into your email marketing program, such as MailChimp, Constant Contact, or Infusionsoft. And then that opens them up to receive your newsletter. And in your newsletter, you're going to post useful content, articles, blogs, promotions, discounts. You're also going to have your value proposition in there, and you're building your credibility and reputation. And every time that I send out my newsletter, there's new people that are on my list that are interested in my products or services. But this is kind of the process flow in terms of a lead generating activity. Now, as you look at this process flow, You may feel like, well, I don't have a LinkedIn group, or I don't have time to create a LinkedIn group, or I don't have a newsletter to go out to people, and or I don't know how to use an email marketing program, or I don't have time to create content. The beauty of all this, everything that is in this process flow, there is an opportunity to either do it yourself or to have a virtual assistant or home-based worker do that. So these different things that you might learn on our calls that we have in terms of marketing techniques and different things for your business, these are things that you don't have to do on your own, that can be outsourced to a virtual assistant or home-based worker. And in my time since 2009, I've hired and trained hundreds of virtual assistants to do all kinds of different tasks for my own business, and also for other business owners who are trying to improve their work-life balance. They're trying to save time. They're trying to grow their business. And I help business owners kind of identify, if they took a look at their business, and if you took a look at your own business, you look at what work needs to be done to grow your business, and you look at what work needs to be done to run your business. Kind of those, you look at the first part, which is kind of lead generating and marketing activities, whether it's the initial phases of actually developing a product or service that you're going to offer to people, putting together a website, ads and graphics, business development, and then the marketing and lead generation activities, such as offline marketing or telemarketing activities, or online marketing activities such as LinkedIn, social media, Facebook ads, SEO, which is for web traffic, getting people to actually visit your website to purchase your product or services, pay-per-click campaigns, email marketing campaigns, or in generally speaking, sales and sales calls activities. So those are all things that you're doing to grow your business. Then the other piece is kind of more of on the administrative or operational side. So the accounting, administrative, somebody to answer your phones, input information into a database, accounts payable, accounts receivable, bookkeeping, all the profit and loss statements, customer service, who answers your phone when somebody's interested in your products or services, who follows up if there's any issues. HR, someone who's going to manage your workforce or who does recruiting for you. General operations, order fulfillment, project management, managing whether it's a marketing campaign or whatever activities that you're having to manage on your own, possibly having someone do project management for you, or IT, web administration. So those are kind of the two major groups, and I didn't cover everything in it, but those are kind of generally what I see as things that you're doing to grow your business, and then things that just need to be done to run it and keep it going. And then ask yourself, can this be done remotely? So I live in Silicon Valley here, and I've worked in corporate for many years here, and I can tell you that with all the different collaboration tools that are available now, the world is made much smaller. You're able to connect with people in different corporate offices. It's very easy to do data and document sharing. So in terms of things that can be done remotely, I see more and more people working from home or working from home 1 or 2 days during the week, and very easy for people to collaborate that are working remotely. So you ask yourself, can this particular task that you're having to do right now, can this be done remotely? And if you look at the communication and meeting tools, there's GoToMeeting, there's Skype, there's document sharing, so it makes it very easy for you to share information with someone who's working remotely or home-based worker. It's Google Docs, Dropbox, and there's project management tools such as Trello, Asana, and Smartsheet. So all these good tools that are available that make the world much smaller. So you ask yourself, can this be done remotely? And if not, then you're going to have to do it personally, or you have to hire an office-based worker, which can be, pretty expensive, especially if you're just starting out in your business. You need to have office space. You have to pay, at least, of course, minimum wage, and there's benefits and different things associated with hiring an office-based worker, or you simply just don't do that activity. I mean, when I started out my business, there was a ton of things that I was told that I needed to do. Oh, you need to do Facebook ads. Well, I don't have time to create a Facebook campaign, or I don't have the graphics experience to do that. So those are kind of the choices that you make. And then if it can be done remotely, which I'll tell you in many cases, a lot of these different activities can be done remotely, then do you have work instructions for this particular job or task? Because if, different things that you're trying to do on your own, if you want to have somebody else do it, you've got to teach them or train them to do that. And so if you don't have the work instructions, then either you make a decision, well, I'm just going to keep doing this task, or it might be a marketing activity that you wish you were doing, but you don't do it. For example, if it's trying to get organic traffic to your website, if you're not an SEO specialist, you're not going to know everything that needs to be done to do that, and maybe you just don't do it. Or I'll give you an example. For many years, I was doing the bookkeeping for my business, and I would spend, on an annual basis, for all the activities that I had to prepare for tax preparation, probably 40 to 60 work hours every year, preparing bookkeeping, throughout the year, and everything related to tax preparation before I get things over to my CPA. Finally, this past year, I spent 2 hours and I trained somebody to do it. I never sat down and took 2 hours to train somebody, but I finally did that this year. And boy, do you know how much time that had saved me, just because I stopped and I held a go-to meeting with a virtual assistant and showed them, here's my bookkeeping process. I sent them to a training course, and now they're doing the bookkeeping for me. So all that time has saved me, in doing that. So if you don't have instructions for a work task, create the work instructions, or just show them hands-on. You can do a video or write a written procedure. And I tell you, it's amazing if you can have a virtual assistant do some of these activities that you've been spending a lot of time. It can help save you time. It can help save you money. And when I say save you money, I'll give you an example. As I said, I work here in Silicon Valley. At one of the corporate jobs that I had, we were paying $100 an hour for a web designer to make changes to a website. If you compare that to having a virtual assistant in the Philippines, my company charges just over $11 for somebody to design a website or make changes or updates to a website. So you can save a ton of money by hiring a virtual assistant. It also gives you the opportunity to scale or grow your business by doing activities that you yourself wouldn't either have time to do or wouldn't have the expertise to do, and then gives you the ability to increase the overall capacity for your business, either on a short-term basis or long-term basis. So this is kind of the decision-making process that I follow and that I help clients with when they're just deciding that they need to grow their business, or they need to save time or save money. So with the LinkedIn task, the LinkedIn task that Ken has showed today, this is something that I've been doing in my business for at least 4 years, and Ken's utilized a virtual assistant to do this task because it's something you can do on your own, but your time could be better spent following up on people who are interested in your business, and then you can spend that time in front of the customer versus doing a repetitive activity like this. But if you look at this activity, one of the things that a VA can do for you is look at LinkedIn groups that could contain your potential clients. So there's all kinds of different LinkedIn groups, and which of the LinkedIn groups are going to be best for you? Which ones are people most engaged? Which ones is there the most activity? And the VA can go in and join 10 groups over time on a weekly basis, And as they join those groups, they'll see different people that might be good strategic connections for you, and sending them a connection message, inviting them to join your network. And as people respond to that, you don't let it sit there or just use the standard LinkedIn messaging after somebody connects with you. You use Ken's message, which is much more effective in building that relationship, adding that person to your list, and potentially adding them to a LinkedIn group. You don't have to have your LinkedIn group, but it is a benefit if you do have your own LinkedIn group. And then another thing that the virtual assistant can do is, as people are responding to either your request to join message or thank you message, and they say, hey, yeah, I did look at your profile and it does look like you have some interesting business or services that maybe I could use or refer people to, the VA can actually look at and see positive message responses to those messages and flag those for you. And then that way you can either shoot that person a message or you can make a phone call to that person. So it's flagging people who expressed interest. So this is definitely one of the activities that you can outsource to a virtual assistant. And as I've mentioned, you know, I hired my first virtual assistant back in 2006, and I was doing a real estate business while actually working as a retail human resource manager on a schedule of 55 hours a week. I was sending at that time postcards and letters out to people, letting them know that I was interested in buying their home. And the virtual assistant was answering those phone calls for me while I was at work, because I couldn't answer the phone while I was at work. And also the virtual assistant was going on Craigslist and looking at people who had posted ads to sell their home. And after a certain period of time, the virtual assistant was able to help me get a couple of my first real estate deals. And that resulted in people asking me, hey, we'd like a virtual assistant to help us get real estate deals. And that kind of evolved over time, where I wasn't just a real estate investor trying to leverage virtual assistant services for my real estate business, but it actually evolved into a virtual assistant business, and started that in 2009 and have been doing it since. But the whole goal behind hiring a virtual assistant is for you as an entrepreneur to help you gain a better work-life balance, to spend time with your family, to do certain activities that are going to bring more clients to you, activities that you really, if you're just one person, you wouldn't have the time to do, and increase your overall revenue. So that's what it's all about, is transforming your life and business. And so just take a look at different things within your business, and could you outsource it? And the beauty of hiring a virtual assistant versus hiring a employee, I live in the state of California. Minimum wage continues to go up. If especially when I was first starting out my business, I did not have enough money to hire a regular employee. I didn't have money to have even my own office space. But I've been able to build a large team of people that can do all kinds of things. One of my first websites, the virtual assistant did my website design. I've had virtual assistants do my newsletter, send out my email marketing campaigns, answer incoming calls for customer service and for sales, do outbound telemarketing calls, do my payroll for all the virtual assistants that work for me, do my bookkeeping. These are all different activities that you can have somebody do for you. And the amazing thing about hiring somebody remotely, these are prices actually off of our website, is for hiring somebody who's an admin assistant or somebody to go into your social media account, to do content, create content like write blogs for you, to do research, to do data entry. You can hire a virtual assistant starting at $8.20 an hour to do that. And the comparison point, if you were to hire, let's say, an admin assistant, here, I'm in California, hire an admin for $14, $15, $16 an hour, entry level. They typically don't have a college degree. It's not even a comparison. Most of the VAs that I employ have college degrees and have had significant positions in the corporate world and just wanted to go and work home-based. So starting at $8.20 an hour, you can have somebody that answers phone calls for your business, or does your LinkedIn postings, or does your social media, or manages your newsletter. Price point for technical VAs. At one of the corporate jobs that I held in the past, their the web person there was charging $100 an hour to make changes to the website. We offer for web design starting at $11.20 per hour. And especially if you're a small business owner, if you need somebody to make updates to your website, that can get very pricey at $100 an hour versus hiring somebody remotely from the Philippines starting at $11.20 per hour. So these are just different things that could be a benefit to your business as you're growing that business or trying to save yourself some time. It's a much lower price point, and you can, if you're just one person, or if you want to grow that business, you can build a remote workforce team. And it's amazing, the type of collaboration tools that are available now that make it very easy for you to communicate with a virtual assistant either over Skype or like GoToMeeting like we're using here today. There's Dropbox for file sharing. There's Google Docs for file sharing. So the world is made a lot smaller with all these tools that are available. There's Facebook instant messaging and so forth. So very easy to communicate with people who are many miles away. There's for those of you that are on the call, there's a promotion if you want to sign up for our virtual assistant service. One of the benefits with going with our company is I've hired hundreds and hundreds of virtual assistants and placed hundreds of virtual assistants and have a large network. And so we have a feel for what VAs produce and deliver for clients and which ones don't. And the ones that don't, of course, we don't, if they're not performing, we don't continue to employ virtual assistants that don't perform. When I first got started out in the virtual assistant business, there were certain people that I hired that didn't perform. And so we try to maintain a good network of VAs that are proven and reliable and have a track record, either working for me personally or working for clients or customers. So the promotion that we have right now is if you want to do leverage virtual assistant services, you just call the number on the screen there or go to my website, virtualassistanttalent.com, and there's a promotion that you can get $50 off. We have different types of packages, so really to cater any needs or any budget or whatever number of hours per week that you need, we can come up with a package. Some people, if they need website updates, you just can prepay for a certain number of hours, and anytime you need a website update, we can help with that. So,
John, could I interrupt for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to tell the group, every month I do an analysis on my return on investment. And last month it came to 327% was my return on the monthly subscription that I have with you, John.
Wow, that's a outstanding return on investment. And I can say, for myself, it's made a huge difference. I can't tell you, at one point when I was working a full-time job and trying to grow my business, things got so bad at one point I was getting sometimes just 2 to 3 hours of sleep, and it's I know people have dreams and people work really hard to build those dreams, and you want to do everything on your own, but this is something where you can kind of see, hey, I can't do everything on my own, and this is a solution. And this is one of the things that is really important to me, is just to to deliver this message, you know, there's kind of two things. One, it's a benefit of employing, you know, people who are home-based workers who want to work from home, that have very good skills. A lot of them, you know, have been managers in corporate jobs, but then had either children or just wanted to be at home. Amazing talent out there that is ready to work, and it's always rewarding for me to place them with an entrepreneur. And then also for entrepreneurs, I definitely have a heart for entrepreneurs, people who have dreams, that work really hard, and this is just an opportunity to gain that work-life balance and help you grow the business much faster than you might be able to do on your own. So appreciate, you know, all your time, Ken. Appreciate being on the call. And Ken, you know, your
Pleasure,
coaching
John.
program has been a huge benefit to me, and specific to, you know, what we're talking today. This particular technique has stood the test of time, and, you know, I've been using it for, you know, at least 4 years, and I look at reports of what type of marketing activities that I'm doing, and this is something that consistently delivers. So
Great,
yeah.
great, John. This was a great webinar here, but let's do the questions that are on the screen showing.
Are there on-site, this is from Brad, are there on-site online sites or tools that would enable a VA to create and send mailers to me? So Brad, you know, in terms of mailers, you're talking about physical mailers. If you're talking about physical mailers, I actually at one point had a VA send mailers, create the mailers for me in the Philippines, and then send like 1,000 of those mailers overseas back to me here, and then I sent them out through here, the postal service here. That is one particular option. Or they could do the footwork. There's services here that actually will send out mailers for you, and if you don't have the time to do that, you can train the VA to work with a mailers company, and just explain to them the process, and then they could be the contact person for that. If it's electronic mailers or using email programs like MailChimp or Constant Contact or Infusion, they can also do that, you know, as well. So I hope that answers your question, Brad. If it doesn't, just shoot me a message, and then we can kind of discuss that, you know, as well offline. But appreciate that question. But I've used it for physical, you know, mailers. I actually had them work with a printing company and send the mailers over to me. Okay, so next question. Let's see here. Okay, good. Thanks, Richard. We're able to get the sound. Okay. All right. Yeah. That sounds good, Richard. So I've got your contact information. We can set up a time to talk to you. Okay. Have you had any problems with hacking? How do you give out your passwords to the virtual assistant? So this is from April. I have not had, you know, in terms of, you have to kind of decide in terms of over time how much you trust a person. And, you know, at first you can start out with small things, but then eventually as trust is built over time, you get to know that person, and you can decide, you know, in terms of what you're comfortable giving your virtual assistant access to. So I've never had any incidents where a virtual assistant hacked into or into one of my accounts that they weren't supposed to, or did something, you know, to that effect. I have virtual assistants manage my social media accounts, and if the virtual assistant quits, I change all my passwords. So as I, you know, switch VAs from one virtual assistant to another, I always make sure to change the passwords just as if they were a regular employee, you know, working in the office. But again, you know, trust is built over time. I wouldn't give a virtual assistant who had not worked with me for very long the password to my PayPal account. that would be something done, over time. But again, yes, I do give my passwords out to them. You just have to determine what your limit is and what you're comfortable with. There also are programs that you can use that, like Hootsuite, that you can set up that account, give them access to Hootsuite, which connects them to the social media accounts, but then they don't actually have your social media passwords. They only have the password to your Hootsuite. So Andrew says, let's see, if the VA doesn't do job, how does the employer get a new VA? So for example, with my company, if the virtual assistant is not performing, you just let us know, and we can easily replace the VA. We can also make sure if you've spent a lot of time with the VA training them, that they participate and help with the training of the other VA. But we have a, you can always replace that VA if they're not performing. You would just need to let us know. So thanks for that question. Is there a way to try a virtual assistant for a month or two just to understand how it works? That's Daniela. Yes. In terms of how our program works, you just decide, based on your budget, you prepay for a certain number of hours, and those hours that you prepay for, there's no contract that you have to sign where it's 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. If you don't use all the hours, we simply just refund those hours to you. So there's no, specific commitment where you have to commit for a certain length of time. So you could try out a VA for a month or two, see if they're working for you. And if not, then you can get a refund on the balance. So there's no, specific commitment to it. Some activities that you do, like for example, if it's search engine optimization, there's certain things that take some time. So as an example, I have a virtual assistant do search engine optimization for my website, and the results, they told me up front that before you see results, it's going to take 2 to 3 months before you see that organic traffic spike. But was one of the best decisions that I have made, was having a virtual assistant work on getting organic traffic to my site, because it's made a huge difference. Huge improvement in the amount of organic traffic that I'm getting, but it did take a few months for that to kick in. So there are 4 of us in my firm. Each of us could use the program and VA services. Can we hire a VA to support all 4 of us? Yes, so that's George. That is a good idea, because depending on the amount of work, yeah, you could pull from the same virtual assistant, and in many cases it's going to be a benefit to the VA, because a lot of the virtual assistants are looking for a certain number of hours a week or even full-time work. So if one person doesn't have enough work to send them, this can be a win-win situation. So yeah, you can hire one VA to support all of you. And George, if you just go to virtualassistanttalent.com and call the phone number on there, Karen is the ops manager. She can help you, with that, or shoot me a message and I can have her follow up with you. But yeah, you said you basically serve the same business owner prospect base. So yeah, I mean, that makes sense. They'll learn your business and be able to help you. Will the slides be available later? That's from Jerry. Yes, so we're going to send out on Tuesday for everybody who's on the webinar, the webinar recording. So, okay, now let's see if anybody has any other questions. Okay, so Richard, Richard, I don't know if we answered your question from before. Let's see, Richard, I'm going to just unmute you real quick here, Richard, but this might have been from earlier. Richard, everything all good now, or did you have another question? Okay. All right. So let's see here. Okay. No, I think we're good. Okay, so if
John,
anybody had,
I'd like to
yeah,
thank everybody for spending the time, and I know that we've helped them out. So I got to compliment them on staying on the line and learning all about all this.
all right, good. All right, yeah. Well, thanks again so much as well, everybody who's on the call. A lot of good questions here, and I'm certainly available if you have any questions. Just shoot me an email, or you can always go to my website, virtualassistanttalent.com. If you call the number there, I get copied on messages that go. So if you have any follow-ups that are needed, feel free to reach out. And thanks again, Ken, for having me on the call as well. And
Sounds
yeah,
good.
all
Everybody
right.
keep well and have a great night.